Hi everyone, yasas que kalosir to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're going to be making Eliopites. We're turning them into Phyllo spirals. Eliopites basically translate to olive pies. I'm filling mine with olives, feta, herbs. Feta is not traditional, but it's so good. I'm even sticking some mozzarella cheese in there for a little bit of pull and more flavor. The phyllo bakes to a golden perfection. It's crispy and flaky and so good. You can serve these as an appetizer, or you could add them to a holiday cheese board or something like that. Serve them with soup. They are so delicious. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to begin by preparing the filling ingredients. So I finely chopped an onion. I'll just add it to my skillet with about 1/4 cup of olive oil, and this is going to cook until it's nice and soft. I'm going to cook it on low heat so that way I can prepare the rest of the ingredients. So we're adding between 3 to 6 scallions. I'm adding 6 scallions because I love the flavor. These are already washed and dried, but slice them down all the way down to the ends and slice them just very thinly. These are going to go in the skillet as well once the onions have cooked. These are going to go in for about 2 minutes until they've softened a little bit. Then take the pan off of the heat and we're going to chop up lots of olives. So I get this pack of olives from my local Costco and they're already pitted, and it's just a nice selection of Kalamata olives, Castelveltrano, and some other green olives. There are a few bits of roasted red peppers that are chopped up in here. I'm just going to chop these up very roughly with my knife. If you want to, you can pulse these in the food processor just until they're roughly chopped. You don't want this to turn into a paste unless you do want it to turn into a paste. It just depends on the texture that you like of the filling. But this is the consistency that I like, and this is about 250 grams. You could go all the way up to 300 grams of olives. This recipe makes about 9 spirals. So once the olives are chopped up, they're going to go into the pan, of course off of the heat. Then we're going to chop up some fresh parsley. That's going to go in, about 1/4 cup of it. I'll also add 1 teaspoon of dried mint. If you have fresh mint, just finely chop about 1/4 cup of fresh mint. It works really well with the olives because olives are really heavy and meaty and hearty, and the mint really freshens the texture up a little bit. I'll also add some freshly cracked black pepper, lots of it, and then feta cheese. Feta cheese is optional. If you want to keep these without the cheese in them, that's totally fine. The filling won't be enough for 9. You'll probably have about 6 spirals. I love adding feta to this. So about 250 grams of feta cheese, always buy the block feta. I'm using sheep's milk feta, but you can use a cow's milk for this, which is much more affordable. When you're making fillings for things, you can get away with the cow's milk feta, but if you can get it at a good price, sheep's milk is just creamy and the best. So just crumble it in and mix everything all together. And that's it. The filling is ready. So now we're going to assemble everything. You want to make sure that everything is ready. The phyllo that we're using today is a number 4 phyllo. It's a pound of it that's been thawed at room temperature. I left it in my refrigerator overnight because this is sold in the freezer section of the supermarket or the specialty food store. And then I just left it out until it came to room temperature in its packaging. You want to wait till the last second to take it out of the packaging, otherwise it dries up and then you're going to have a mess on your hands. I've also melted 1/2 pound of butter. This is unsalted butter, and I just added about 1/2 teaspoon of salt into it so that way it has a little bit more flavor. We're going to take 1 sheet of phyllo at a time, and as you can see, I'm still going to use this phyllo even though it is not the best quality. It's not that it's not the best quality. I think I thawed it out a few days ago and then forgot about it in my fridge and didn't use it right away. This is a really good company. I don't have the box, but if your phyllo looks like this and the sheets are sticking and tearing, you can still use it, and I'll show you how I do it. We're going to take 1 sheet at a time and brush some butter over it. I first like to drizzle a little bit of butter over it, and then I'll take another sheet of phyllo, and if it's also torn, I'll just take the clean side and just overlap it on the torn side so that way we get a little bit of evenness going on when it rolls up. But trust me, you won't even be able to see the tears in the phyllo. If a few chunks are missing, that's fine too. So if the phyllo sheets are really sticking together a lot, just put 2 sheets down together and don't worry about it. Brush some butter on the top layer as well, and then we're going to take 3 to 4 tablespoons of that olive filling and put it across the bottom. I also like to sprinkle some shredded mozzarella cheese on top. It just adds a little bit of pull to it. It holds the mixture together. It's a really nice topping. You can use a different kind of cheese if you like Kefalo Graviera or Casseri cheese. They both work well. Now we're going to roll this up, and if your phyllo is not in such bad shape, twist it a little bit. It's going to add some texture and make it bake up a little bit crispier. And then we're going to form it into a spiral. And I have a baking tray that's lined with parchment paper. These are all going to go on top. I'm able to twist some a little bit easier than the others. And I was able to make 9 spirals out of this. So just try to put the filling in evenly so that way you have enough. If you need to add a little bit of feta cheese or chop up some more olives, you can do it last minute, but I had enough filling. The remaining butter that's in this bowl over here is just gonna get brushed over all around the spirals. You're gonna brush it on top and on the sides. And this is gonna bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 to 50 minutes. Keep an eye on them and rotate the tray if you have to, just so that way everything gets even color. Once it comes out of the oven, let it sit at room temperature for about 5 minutes, and then they're ready to serve. And there you have it. The Eliopites are ready. They're crispy and flaky and delicious, and they have all the delicious Greek flavors that we know and love. They're loaded with those delicious olives. Of course, the feta cheese and the herbs just wake everything up. You can serve these as is with tzatziki. I mean, there's just so many ways to do it. They taste so good, like I said in the beginning, with soup. Listen to how crispy the phyllo is. You hear that? That is what it's supposed to sound like. So mine took, sometimes it takes 45 minutes, sometimes it takes 55 minutes. And I know sometimes it's tempting to cook these pies at a higher temperature, but with phyllo, the lower the temperature is, the crispier it gets. So I did mine at 350, and my oven does bake, my top oven especially, does bake less hot than the bottom one. So if your oven bake isn't calibrated correctly and it bakes a little bit hotter, reduce the temperature to 325 and increase the cooking time. You'll know they're ready when they're beautifully golden all around. You want to make sure that they're crispy and not soggy. Once they come out of the oven, you're just going to let them sit for a little bit, and then they're ready to serve. Let's do the taste test. It smells so good. Phyllo appetizers are always a little bit messy to eat, but we love them because they're flaky. That filling has so much flavor. I mean, it's just absolutely delicious. If you want to, you can definitely add some roasted red peppers to the filling, sun-dried tomatoes, but it is perfect as is. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. The exact measurements are on the website, so you can head on over to dimitrasdishes.com to print this out. Make it, let me know what you guys think, and if you have any recipe requests, post them down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.